Well, hello. We're live. We are live. I am just going to check and make sure that it is showing across all of our. We're live. All right. So we are back again for another week, another conversation, another opportunity to connect and dive deeper into this thing. Last week, we talked a lot about just really putting excuses to the side and choosing execution over excuses. So I am Jade Williams. I am joined here with, we can't hear you, Danielle.
There we go, Danielle Bertrand.
And together, um, yeah, we are here to help y'all. We're excited. I think I always speak for both of us when I say we are excited because we have so many conversations behind the scenes about how we desire to help not just women, but entrepreneurs, leaders, creatives, those who are in transition in the workplace, really help you to navigate the transition, help you to go forward in grace, and go forward knowing that you have everything that you need. So today we are continuing that conversation and we are calling this thing, okay, now what? So now that I have made the decision to go forward, now that I've made the decision to choose execution over excuses, what does that look like now? So I'm super excited to get into the conversation. I will just give you a little bit of my background again, and then I'll let Danielle do the same, and then we'll just dive right into it. But again, the conversation is all about now what? Now that we've made the decision, what do we do? And as y'all are coming in, make sure that you are tagging your friends, make sure that you are tagging coworkers, people that you're connected to in ministry, anyone that you know is an executor, because we are in a space of honoring executors in this season. We are honoring those who are saying, I understand, I just need to know what to do. I just need a little bit of clarity. I need some strategy, and we're good to go forward. So again, I am Jade Alexis. Many of you know me as Jade Williams. I am a mostly known as an accountant, tax professional, all things money, mindset, and motivation. Um, I have now transitioned or began operating more on the profitability side. So we're talking about the things that lead you to profitability. It's cool to talk about the money. I think that's the easy part. But how do we get it? How do we sustain it? And how do we maintain it at this point? So Danielle.
Yes, so I'm Danielle Bertrand, and I see y'all saying hey in the comments. Hello, hello, happy Friday. Tag your people. Tell us where you're watching from. And again, that's not for our benefit. You might have somebody you can do life with in the comments. So make sure you do that. Tag, share all those things because we're coming to you for what, it's not officially a lunch and learn, but take it like that, right? Where you can eat and you're going to eat real good today. So I'm Danielle Bertrand, the preventative burnout specialist, and my expertise is preventing burnout for corporate professionals, ministry leaders, entrepreneurs, parents, and educators. But along with that, I am a strategist. Many of you know me from Girl Is Go Time. And so the strategy part never left. And I think me and Jade, are an example of you can do one thing in one season and God can transition you to something else. However, all of the things still can go with you that are supposed to go with you. So you don't have to start over fresh every time God transitions you to another assignment. And so I'm excited about the work that we get to do here with these lives and with the figure it out sessions and all those things because God is actually physically right now blowing on this and he knows who we're connected to. God knows the stuff you've been praying about.
Yes.
And we not just have to believe, but we are confident that this is an answer prayer for so many people. And so we just encourage you to share it, like it, tag people, do all the things so that everybody can be a part of this conversation because it's not it doesn't make sense in this season to have access and not use it correctly. Like if you got access, you might as well get what you need and find out how you can get more and what those next steps are. So I'm excited about the conversation. And so let's get into it.
All right. Well, hey, she said, let's get into it. So I always laugh because there is so much that we can get into, right? So a lot of times we have to pull ourselves back and say, hey, so we're only going to get into this part today. But I think at the end of this, or it is my hope that by the end of this, you'll see yourself in this conversation. You will receive what it is that you need, or a piece of what you need to take the next step. So the first step was saying, I choose execution over excuses. The next step is to see yourself now in answering some of the things that we're talking about today are just questions that we believe that not just because we know that we ask the same questions, right? So the question is now what? I did this, but now what? So understanding that, but that you'll see yourselves in these questions, and then by the end of it, you'll make a decision on the next steps that you need to go forward. And so, Danielle, I think from here we can just dive right into the first question, because what we do know and understand is that when people and again, we did it. So most times when we make a decision to do something, we decide that this is what we are going to do. We know we're going to do it. We're slightly confident in it. We feel pretty good about it.
Uh-huh.
The next question is usually after the now what, right? The next thing becomes, how do I build? Most times we stop at build, but we do understand that there's a difference between building and building well.
Mhm.
And so instead of just being builders, we want to be those that build
Well,
the that build top level, high level, top level things. We don't want to be the ones that go on, when you go on Google reviews for the builder who is in charge of this community, who's built this community, or who have built previous communities, but they're now the new builders that are announced to this area that you're going into. And you see the reviews about, hey, do not buy a home with these people. Do not do this because this happened, that happened. I can't get them on the phone. So
mhm.
we want to be sure that we are building, but we want to make sure that we're building well. So what can you say to, what does that look like to answer that question? How do I build well? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think the first thing that you have to realize is your competency, and realizing what your competency is. I know, like people are like, I'm competent, I'm competent. Yeah, but are you competent in this thing?
Yes.
And a lot of times you are, but it's just pulling all of the things together. And so the definition of competency is the proven ability to perform a specific task or role successfully. Have you done it successfully?
That's good.
Yes, you might have done it, but was it
Yeah.
successfully? Like what was your measure of success, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when it's time for something new to happen, oh, all right, so we going there. So
Yeah.
what a lot of us do have the competency for the thing to be a will, but what
Mhm.
happens is when it's time to move on and go to the next thing, the devil will make you forget your past wins.
That's
So you
good.
start as a novice and now you don't feel like you're competent enough. Like, oh, I've never done this before. His goal is to make you forget. If
Yes.
you can just remember all of the things that God did with you and through you before, the
Yep.
competency will become so clear that you're like, oh yeah, of course, this is the obvious next step. But if you are in a state of where you can't remember, or it just feels so, you feel fearful to move on to the next, your competency is being targeted.
Yep.
So I encourage people, when you are moving to the next and you're like, I don't know if I can do it, or have I done it successfully, go pull out your past wins, go
Mhm.
pull out them certifications, go
Mhm.
pull out some old social media posts and TikToks and I look at my memories every day. Like, I get on Facebook and I look at the memories. I was like, where was I this time last year or
Mhm.
this time 3 years ago? And I will tell you the truth. I looked at one yesterday and I was like, oh girl, you wasn't playing. Like,
Yeah.
you was up here, you was showing up and all that stuff. But sometimes we just need things to be brought back to our memory. And
Yeah.
so the other thing is with competency, maybe you haven't done the thing before. Maybe
Mhm.
it seems way out of your league and you just like, oh, it's so many missing pieces, or it feels like that. I want
Mhm.
to encourage you that sometimes when that happens and you know that God is moving you forward into this thing, that might be him trying to introduce partnership to you,
Mhm.
because competency does not mean that you know how to do everything. Somebody just in the group got to know how to do that thing well.
Mhm.
A lot of times we run from that. We're like, oh no, because I don't know how that's gonna work. And you know how people be acting with their money and all this stuff. And we have all of these worldly excuses
Yep.
about why it won't work. But the truth of the matter is a lot of people in the world do really good in partnerships.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
they make big money when they
Mhm.
work together because they understand that they don't have to have it all. And I believe as believers, we have to, again, we're a body. You don't have to know it all. Just because God originally gave you the vision doesn't mean that he meant for you to carry it out all by yourself. Even
Correct.
he had 12, right? Like, he didn't do it all by himself. And so I
Mhm.
think with competency and understanding people's gifts and strengths and even your own, that's going to help you build something and build it well. Because the thing that you don't want to keep doing is starting and stopping, starting and stopping. Oh, I wasn't prepared for that. And that's another reason why connecting to experts is a cheat code, because they will be able to pull out things that maybe you didn't even know you had. It's like, but you did that already. Like, pull that skill over here. It just has a different title on it, but
Yeah.
you're good. So, Jay, for you in the fields that you worked in, what does building will look like?
When I think about building well, one of the biggest things, especially in my in my thought pattern and in my area of expertise, is stewardship. Right.
Mhm.
So when I think about building well, we think about, are you stewarding this thing? Even when I go back to what I was saying in the beginning about being a builder and being someone who builds something that's well, that is long standing, you look at stewardship. A lot of times what we do, we are entrusted with something, but we don't steward it well. So I got $1 million contract, but I don't take it seriously enough to do $1 million worth of work, right? Because ultimately I'm thinking about how much is going to be in my pocket. So anytime I think about building well, the first thing that I think about is being a good steward. You
Yeah.
have to steward well. Just going Bible real quick. The Bible tells us that if we are faithful over the little, then we'll become rulers over much. We don't want to be faithful with the little things. Like, we want to get the little and then we want to shoot off to the much. Like, hey, well, I'm going to do a little and I'm going to take much, but that's not what the word says. So that's completely contrary to that.
Yeah.
And so just that reality for me, and again, in my field and my lane of
Mhm.
expertise, and when I think about competency and
Mhm.
building as well, I just think about the first part is stewardship. But then the next part from that is, even when we look at the other side of competency, we look at, what is your experience?
Mhm.
And you touched on that. What experience do you have? Have you done it? And have you done it well? Do
Mhm.
you need more education? Do you need more expertise? These are the things that we oftentimes forget or we overlook
Yeah.
because it requires us to do work.
Mhm.
And the reality is, we want to go from A to B without doing anything in between. We don't do A dot, you know what I mean? Like, all
Yeah.
the micro things
Yeah.
that lead to getting to B. Even to get to Z, like, we want to just go from here to there without having to do any of the work. So for me, it looks like stewardship. It
Mhm.
also looks like making sure that you have again, that proven expertise,
Yeah.
that you've done it before. Not that you've just done it before, but that you've done it well before. What do the people say, right? It's again, going back to the word, who do you say I am,
Yeah.
right? Because who I say I am, it does not matter. So what do the people say? Those who have experienced you, those who have experienced your services, your products, whatever that is, what have the reviews been? Because you can build a thing and not build it well, and then you see it crumbling down, and it's not everybody else, it's not everything else. We have to look at, where were we in it? Where, what was our heart even in it? What
Yeah.
was the heart posture? What was the mindset? What was the intention? Because intention is everything. Where your intention is not pure, then
Hmm.
everything that you do will not be pure. So yeah, that's what I got for
Yeah.
that. And again, I see y'all, we see y'all coming in. Hey, we see y'all speaking, letting us know where y'all from. Make sure that you are tagging your people, share this live out, like it, do all the things that you need to do, because again, we believe that this conversation is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be transformational, and it's already good. So,
Look, hey, I'm enjoying.
and we got a few more things to talk about. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to say to that what you mentioned about sometimes we just the experience, maybe we just don't have it yet, and it's okay to go get it. And I
yeah,
think that's sometimes people like, well, I don't have it, I don't know how to do this, so you just sit there. Go do something about it.
hmm,
Like you have like we talked about last week, you have permission to go get it.
yes,
Nobody is holding you hostage and saying, oh, you can only go this far, or
hmm,
well, yes, I know you have that degree in that, but actually where you've been transitioned to, you need a certification in that. And you like, well, but I spent all this money and all this stuff, but that what that mean now, right?
hmm,
Like if there is something else you need, go get it, go find it. Don't just sit there and know what you need and not get it.
and not get it.
Especially in this world where you have access to so many different things.
Yes,
So don't allow what you've done in the past to make you feel like, well, I should have hated but now, and what people gonna say, and all this stuff.
right.
Hey, are they paying your bills? Like, what are we talking about at the end of the day?
Right.
Nobody actually. People don't care as much as we think people care.
That's right.
People ain't watching you like that.
That's
Like,
right.
I mean, you pretty amazing, but
Right.
they have other stuff going on in their lives, and so you got to actually do what's best for you, and
Yes.
especially where God is calling you to do. He don't care at all about all that
Right.
stuff we be talking about.
That's right.
Go get what you need.
Yeah.
You can't sit here any longer without that.
Yeah. No, and that's so good. And even to that point of like people don't care as much as you think they care. I think the reality is a lot of times we put more thought into what other people think when we ain't even doing nothing. Like I've not even seen you enough for you to even be a factor for me to feel any type of way. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people that see you before you see yourself, but you're not a threat to them because you're not even doing anything. So who's copying you, who's looking at what you're doing if they don't see you consistently. So that is another part I think is important too about building well, is even that from that visibility aspect. Are you consistent in what it is that you're doing? And I don't mean consistently performing, I mean consistently doing the thing that you're called to do, consistently in your lane, not in your lane and my lane and Danielle lane. You just all over the place. You are not a factor, and that's a harsh reality. But a lot of times I think we need to hear that because we spend a lot of time thinking about what somebody else is thinking, and somebody else ain't even watching you. Like
Yeah,
they don't even see you, you know. It's like being in the sky. You on a plane, and like me and you travel a lot, so we know. Like you in a plane, baby. I can't see nothing going on. I am so high above where you are. I can see nothing going on down there. And so a lot of times, I think we have to be just brought back down to like, hey, show up. Like when you start doing stuff consistently, then maybe start thinking about who might be watching. But the reality is in that if you're thinking about who's looking at you, then you're not looking at yourself,
yeah,
because
yeah,
the amount of time that you take away from whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, what you're called to, what you're assigned to, guess what, your mind is not, you're now not building well. You're building according to how they're building because now you're trying to catch up with where they are, or you're paying so much attention to it, and you don't know what you see over there may look like green grass, but it may be artificial. It
hmm,
just may be perfectly, they keep it cut good, but it's not even real. It doesn't even grow to the same capacity that you are. So even
yeah,
when we think about building something well, we have to be focused. Hey, tend to your own garden. Don't worry about what they're doing because they got all kind of stuff over there. The only thing that you see is just what you see from your side,
yeah,
right? But as the saying goes, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. Baby, I'd rather tend to what I have. I'd rather take into account and consideration and build what I have well, whether that means to take things out that shouldn't be there, learning everything that it is that I need to learn about what it is that I'm building.
Yeah.
Then I can move on. I'm not, don't compare yourself to what other people are doing, because you're gonna end up in a whirlwind and your own child weeds gonna come and take over your garden and everything else. So where I live, baby, we got groundhogs, we got rabbits, we got all kinds of stuff. And if you don't tend to what you have, once you get back, it's gonna be holes all in your garden. So yeah, that's just another thing I'll add about building well. But as we talk about, once we get through or we get to understanding, I need to build this thing, but I need to build it well.
Yeah.
So we understand we need to have capacity. We need to ensure that we are good stewards.
Mhm.
We need to make sure that we are attending to what we are building in order to be able to build it well. Get whatever educational experience you need, or do whatever that is. So then we talk about, the next question I think becomes, how do I sustain it, or how do I keep up with it? Again, these are questions and things that Danielle and I talk about. And we talk about these things in our own time, but anytime that we are building or we are getting ready to launch something, whether that be together or individually, these are a set, because we are accountable.
Uh-huh.
We have an accountability system, not just amongst ourselves, not just amongst our friends who are going to say, girl, that sounds good, go forth, but because we have spiritual accountability, right? So there's the ear directly. Hey, what does the Lord say about this?
Yeah.
Because we can do something and we can do it well, but we can do it out of timing.
Mm-hmm.
Because of those things, sustainability is a question. Am I going to be able to maintain this thing, right? And I'm saying maintain, but really and truly, I think sustainability and being able to maintain something, sometimes they are not the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you can maintain something at a particular level and it be mediocre.
Yeah.
So I don't want to use the word maintain, but when I think about sustainability, and one of the things that I had to do was go and like research, okay, because again, we talk about this a lot. So there's a couple of different meanings that I'm going to throw out. One of them is, well, it says to sustain means to support, to again maintain, or to keep something going over time. You can keep a bad thing going over time. So again, I don't like the maintain, but what I will say about sustainability and being able to sustain something, one of the definitions says to endure or suffer. It says to bear up under a heavy weight or to experience loss or injury. So you can sustain an injury, right? So again, we talk about sustainability only from one side, but you can sustain, meaning you can get an injury, right?
Yeah.
You can experience an injury. Then there is the other definition that says to support emotionally. To sustain means to give hope or comfort during a difficult time. So, and then I'll just say the last one that I'll kind of go to is to provide necessities.
Mm-hmm.
To sustain is to nourish or to provide enough to keep someone alive. So again, sustainability, or to be able to sustain something, is one definition is to maintain it. So to keep it, just keep hope alive. The reality is, I think also when we talk about sustainability outside of the definitions, you can sustain a thing, but you have to be able to determine, should that thing be kept alive, right? Like, should this live? A lot of what we've been doing over the years has been keeping dead things alive.
Yeah.
And so the first part that I want to talk about as it relates to sustainability, or that I just want to highlight, is that when we talk about sustaining a thing, we need to first evaluate if that thing can thrive or if it is for this season, right?
Yeah.
Because I can keep hope alive. Like, we can do that already. We do that so well. We've been trained to do that. We've been trained to, hey, just stay in it, just stick with it,
Yeah.
just don't give up, right? But the reality is, if it is not what you are assigned to, if it's not what you're called to, if it's not even what the people are asking you for, because I think that's another thing. We do things and we'll say, oh, well, nobody bought it. Nobody purchased it. Nobody signed up. Nobody did. Did they ask you for that? Because if you spend enough time listening to your people, or listening even to God, to the Lord, because the Lord will give you something that nobody asked for. And you're like, hold on now. This seems contrary to everything, right? This seems completely contrary to everything. So how is it that you want me to do this, but I don't see anybody asking for it? So the Lord will give you things. It's almost like he'll have a ram in a bush,
Mhm.
right? He'll create a way in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And so, but we have to just look at, should this thing first be something that, is it something that I need to even keep my eyes on at this point, right? Because hey, keep your eyes on the prize. Do I need to have my eyes on the prize at this point?
Yeah.
Is that even the prize?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's evaluate what it is. Again, when you mentioned success, what is the measurable? What are we measuring it by? And so, Danielle, I ask you, as it relates to being able to sustain something, what does that look like for you in your field, your area of expertise?
Mhm. I talk about sustainability a lot, especially when we talk about burnout and capacity and all of those things, because a lot of times we will jump head first into things and we already in 3 years from now, and actually God just asked you to send an email, right? And so, but you built this whole thing, and now you like, oh, can I do it? Can I do it? You wouldn't even ask. I think a lot of things with sustainability is sometimes we are trying to sustain stuff that we don't already have. Like we're
Mhm.
trying to sustain the future, and the future is not here yet, and so we
That's
get
good.
overwhelmed and we like, oh, I don't know. Well, you
Mhm.
don't even know who you're gonna be 2 years from now.
That's
So
good.
let's focus on June 2026, right? Because when we start jumping so far ahead, like, well, if this pop off, then da, 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 and we everywhere,
Mhm.
and now we could have sustained something, but
Mhm.
we've overwhelmed ourselves to say, you know what, don't worry about it. I don't
Yes.
have capacity for that. Well,
Mhm.
maybe not today.
Yeah.
You know, and what you didn't know is that so much finances was gonna come in. You were gonna hire a team that the team was gonna help you sustain
That's
it,
good.
right? And
Mhm.
so a lot of times, even with that, sometimes we think, can I sustain it? But did he tell you to sustain it alone?
That's good.
Because it says two are better than one. And so sometimes what God is giving you is not meant to be sustained by you alone.
By you alone.
And we think, okay, well, I got to do it. I got to do it. And I know in this season, God is calling for partnerships. God is calling for collaborations, because the things that He's giving is actually too big for you to sustain by yourself. It's
Yes.
too much. It's too big. You don't have enough space for it, right?
Mhm.
And so when we talk about sustainability and making sure that we have the capacity for it, you do need to know what your own capacity is. You need to have a capacity check and say, I have all of these things on my plate,
Yeah.
but do all of them need to stay? Like Jay said, like some stuff was for 2 years ago and it still got a little corner of your time. Why?
Yes.
That's
Wow.
over.
Yeah.
It doesn't deserve any more of your time. It don't. Some people don't deserve no more of your conversation. They don't
Absolutely.
deserve no more of your money. They don't deserve, right. They don't deserve the stuff that we're giving them, and we're like, I can't sustain what God has given me. You
Mhm.
can't sustain it because you're giving it away. You
Yeah.
have it, but you're putting it in the wrong places.
In the wrong place. Ooh,
I want
that's
to
good.
encourage you to, if God is giving you something, He knows how much He's put in you to be able to handle the thing.
Yes.
It's again about stewardship. What are
Yes.
you doing with what He's giving you? And are you
Yes.
putting it in the right direction?
Mhm.
Because there are a lot of times we're like, oh, well, if I just had some more money. Well, actually, it's not that you actually need more money. You need to stop going to Starbucks every morning.
That's good.
You have the money, but you're just putting it in the wrong places.
That's good.
Have the energy, but you spending your time listening to somebody gossip every 2 days, and all of your energy is depleted. But you were supposed to be building something.
Yeah.
You have it already,
Yes.
right? And God does increase capacity, but He don't need to increase something you're not using well. So you like, God, but you gave me this big vision, and I just don't feel like it.
Mhm.
Like we can, accomplish it.
Yeah.
You're not strategically using the stuff that He gave you already. And I
Yeah.
think when we have these conversations and in our let's figure it out sessions, we get to talk through all of these things to say,
Yes.
hey, well, actually, you have 3 hours in the day there. I don't know what is this? What you
Mhm.
got going on here? Because this could be used doing something that is going to help move you forward into where you actually need to be. So sustainability has a lot to do with, and am I doing it on my own for a
Yes.
season? And is that what God called me to do? Or is he calling me to be in partnership, collaboration, or whatever the thing is? And what am I doing with what I already have? The resources, the connections, all of the things. Am I putting them in the right spaces and places? Because if I'm not doing that, I cannot complain
Yeah,
about, well, things just not working out. And I thought it was going to do this and it didn't. Well, baby, you showed up one time. You're right. It did not do what you thought it was going to do,
yeah,
because that was never the intention for you to just do it that one time and think,
that's right.
hey, it's about to blow up.
That's right.
Right? That's
Mhm.
usually not how it works. And
Yeah.
so we have to understand sustainability is being aware of what we have and putting it in the right places.
That's so good. And I see y'all in the comments. My baby cousin is on here. She said, I don't know how I came across the slide, but definitely needed this.
Uh,
So glad to have you here with us. And then everybody else, I see y'all tagging people and saying that this is good. Listen, it's so good that you even connected the dot between being able to sustain something has a lot to do with how you're stewarding it, right? How you're stewarding your time, your talent, your resources, and all of that. And a lot of times we spend so much time not being good stewards of our time, not being good stewards of the resources that we have, not being good stewards of our finances, and not just saying that you spend a lot of money, but you're giving money to people who are able bodied and they're able to do what they need to do for themselves. So sustainability and stewardship, I believe, especially as a part of my philosophy, is that they do go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to do one before you can do the other, because sustainability becomes it becomes easier after you become a better steward,
mhm,
right? So again, in culture, we celebrate like this overly ambitious, um, everybody's just completely ambitious and you got to keep going, baby, don't stop. um you know, I'm from down south, so hey, hustlers don't stop, they keep going. And the reality is you ain't got to do all that. One of the things that I talk about a lot as a financial expert is we spend a lot of time talking about going and making money, right?
mhm,
When the reality is money is made every day. They sit down, they print money, they shred it up. They do every day.
uh-huh,
Every single day. Our job is to just go get it. How do you go get it? You're in position,
mhm,
right? You're a better steward. You are building something that is sustainable and all of those things. So that's so good that you even connected those dots and saying, even in capacity has a lot to do with what are you doing with what you already have.
yeah,
And it does not mean that you have to do everything by yourself. And speaking from someone who was like, hey, but they can't do it like me. They, you know what? You asked me, let me just do it myself.
uh-huh,
I had a business partner, I had an assistant, I had all these different things. I guess nobody was doing any work
mhm,
because
yeah,
I have to do it.
yeah,
They're not gonna do it fast enough. They ain't gonna do it like me. This is my baby. This is this and
yeah,
that. And so a couple of things that I had to even get into that place and say, hey, so number one, this ain't your baby,
mhm,
because you will not sell your baby, but you will sell this business,
yes,
right? So let's reframe that, number one. But number two, they don't have to do it like you. They're gonna do it like them. And you got to take your hands off of it and trust that because I have entrusted this thing to you, just as we say God has entrusted something to us, because I've entrusted it to you, I have to take my hands off of
yeah,
it and let you do the thing, because I can't complain about my capacity. I can't complain about this thing not being sustainable when I am the obvious bottleneck. Like,
exactly,
it happens all the time. As CEOs, as creators, as parents, as we keep our hands on stuff, and then we'll say, well, God didn't show up. Well, God didn't do this. And God, I want you to open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing. I want all of these things, but we won't take our hands off of stuff. Get your hands out of the mix and let me do what it is that I said I'm going to do.
yeah,
Because ultimately, when your hands in the mix, guess what? You're trying to force it to happen.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really means at the end of the day, I don't trust myself and I don't trust you.
yeah,
That's a harsh reality, but we have to deal with that. So, as we continue on this conversation, again, so appreciative of those of you who are tuning in, those of you who are commenting, liking, sharing, and all the things. But we are just going to continue to move this conversation forward. Danielle, so
yeah,
now this is a question I think we've had together.
uh-huh,
Oh, we do a lot of stuff, and it's like, Am I ready? Right. Like, is right now the time?
Yeah.
Right. Am I ready at this very moment? Woo. And being ready. Culture says, hey, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Right.
Mhm.
And to a degree, that is true.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
have systems and certain things in place. But how do you know that you're really ready? What does ready look like? Or is ready even a measurable?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I think we measure things by something that's not even measurable. What does ready look like? Ready for me doesn't look like ready for you.
Yeah.
So can
Mhm.
you speak to that?
I think let me stop, folks. So let me get myself because I think no, I know. Okay, and like sometimes it's just a language shift of what you just used to saying. Well, I think, and so this is just a side note. When you keep saying that, people are like, well, does she know what she's talking about? I know that ready is different for each person because I can go get dressed and once my hair done makeup on, I might say I'm ready, but somebody might say, oh, I'm not ready till I put perfume on. I'm not ready until this and this and this. So it's
Good.
an individual
That's good.
readiness, right? And
Mhm.
so what we will do, we will look at other people's ready and say, well, I'm not there yet, so I must not be ready.
Mhm.
Well, in their mind, that's what ready was, but that might not be ready for you because ready for you might not take all that. Ready for you might just be like, hey, as long as I can get out the door, I'm ready to go. And the other part of being ready, sometimes the ready is not your decision. And the fact that if God is saying, hey, I need you to do it now, it's on the calendar, you need to be ready or not. Here
Mhm.
we go, right?
Ready or
And
not. That's
so
right.
hey, it's time because if something starts at a certain time and you're like, well, I'm not ready yet, well, guess what? It's going to start and you're going to be late.
Mhm.
So it was ready, but you weren't, and you didn't move faster to get ready. So now you missed out. And
Yeah.
so again, sometimes the ready is your decision,
Mhm.
depending on what that situation is. But sometimes the ready is already on the calendar, it's already on the clock. You got to speed up to get to where it is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna miss it. If you make a reservation for 7 p.m. and then you like, oh man, traffic and I ain't have my stuff together and and you arrive at 8:30, guess what they gonna say? Oh, I'm sorry, we gave your reservation away. The table was ready for you at the appointed time, but you were not prepared, you were not
That's
in place.
good.
And so they gave your table away. Some of us are on the fence of our table being given away
That's
because
good.
we're not ready, but it's already on the calendar. It's the reservation has already been made for you. God has gone before you and made the reservation. And he's been telling you, hey, this is coming. Start preparing for this. Start getting your little ducks in a row. He's already doing that stuff. You sitting here on this live, right? There are things he's not, the only it's not he's not trying to surprise you,
Yeah.
right? It's not a surprise party. He wants you to
Yeah.
come prepared, like
Exactly.
what's going on, because there's some conversations you're gonna need to be prepared to have, but
Mhm.
if you're not there on time, it's not the restaurant's fault. You said you was coming at this time. They did have the table ready for you, and now you mad. Well, they
That's
should have
good.
knew. And then what if they tell you they can't even seat you tonight?
Yeah.
Now you got to go find a whole nother restaurant. Now you got to be a walk-in when you were not where you had a reserved space. Now you just got to go wait in line like everybody else.
Yeah.
So our readiness, we have to be mindful. Did God put this on the calendar? Because
Yeah.
if God is saying, "Hey, this is the time, this is the place," the Bible says, "Chance and opportunity happen to them all." So if this is when God is opening the windows of heaven for you, you don't get to say, "Oh well, next year I'll be ready." You can say that, but then you will have missed all of the things that He had for you in that season. So just understand that readiness does not look the same for each and every person. And so you can't get caught up in comparing. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'll be ready once I got the website up. I'll be ready with it, and I'll be ready with, like, if you do all of that, you actually gonna miss the appointed time. You need to know what the plan is, what ready is for you, and what God is calling you to do. And that's why I'm so super excited about these figure it out sessions, because we get to figure that out together. okay, where is God really pressing you towards? What
Yeah.
is this something that's needed in the earth right now? Do you have the capacity? Do you have the competency for this, for it to take off at this very moment?
Yeah.
Or how do you prepare for that thing? So
Good.
ready or not, it really depends on the situation, the person, and what God is telling us to do.
That's so good. And I'm laughing because, baby, I am a person who, so Danielle and I were traveling last month. And yeah, I'm not a ready at your time person. You know what I mean? Like I'm a ready at my time because again, as you said, hey, you might have put your shoes on and all of the things, and it's like, oh, well, hey, I'm ready because all I got to do. And for me, no, I'm not ready until I put my, until I spray, until
Mhm,
I do this, until
mhm,
I put my gloss on and all of
mhm,
that. Then that's ready for me.
mhm,
It's so important that we look at what does ready look like for you.
mhm.
What are you measuring ready by, baby? If I ever tried to measure my ready the entire time that me and Danielle were traveling by how Danielle, I wasn't ready because was never gonna be ready because Danielle hit the pavement like she does. And so, and there was a time that our table was, yeah, your table ain't ready. Like you're gonna have to wait. Um, and it's funny on this side, but the reality is when we look at that, when we say that we are called to do something, we
Mhm.
feel like we are assigned to a specific thing. We feel like, God is breathing on something. God is getting ready to open up the windows of heaven and pour out this blessing. The waters are troubled. We say all these things. We over spiritualize every single thing as a means, I think, to keep us just coasting, right?
Uh-huh.
But when we say these things and we truly believe it, then we do have to move different.
Yeah.
Like ready or not, whether you're ready, whether you're not ready, because that goes to perfectionism. When you, well, I gotta wait until I get all of this, and I gotta, this curl gotta be like this before I say I'm ready. That
Yeah.
is perfectionism, and God didn't ask you to be perfect.
Mhm.
There's no perfection. I almost think sometimes perfection is not even obtainable in a sense,
Yeah.
right? You can't be perfect. But we have this expectation of ourselves that if we present this
Yeah.
certain type of way, right? Like we talked about it last week, be presenting as the finished work.
Yeah.
Like I want to present and I want to arrive. The reality is the work wasn't finished until, so
Yeah.
yeah. So that being said, okay, I'm not gonna go there. But
She
okay,
going.
I ain't going there. The reality is, I'm gonna stay over here. The reality is we have to we have to keep that at the forefront,
Yeah.
right? Keep that in mind when we are saying we're not, because on the other side of that is disobedience. Like
Mhm.
just straight, we
Mhm.
gonna just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
It's disobedience. There's no other way to sum it up except for saying it's being disobedient.
Mhm.
And it's also, especially when we're entrusted with people,
Mhm.
we're entrusted to, God has given you a gift to do whatever it is. You're entrusted with people and you mishandle those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talked about the line leader, and I always think about this line leader because I used to get mad at school when the line leader got out. Like, we got to keep stopping. I'm trying to get the lunch.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying. Especially when we got to high school, because they still wanted to do this whole line leader thing or whatever, or like this person directs. When you're in
Yeah.
ninth grade, you're not technically in high school, so this person is directing us to the cafeteria. Baby, I'm trying to get to the cafeteria so I can slide and go where else I'm trying to go. So it's like, can we keep moving? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we spend a lot of time mismanaging or mishandling, going back to sustainability,
Yeah.
going back to building well. We spend a lot of time doing things that we should not be doing. And we don't understand that it is for an appointed time,
Yeah.
right? It is for an appointed time. So guess what? When your number get called, your appointed time comes and you're not where you're supposed to be, then what? Oh, then we get offended. Oh, but God don't love me, and this is that and the other. And people ain't buying what I put out. There was an appointed time for what it was that you were supposed to do. There was an appointed time where God was breathing on it but you kept delaying. You kept taking your time. So not only did you delay you, but you delayed every single person that
Yeah.
was supposed to be in line behind you. Now, don't get me wrong. When your number comes and you ain't ready, God will move you out of the way. But the preparation that was supposed to happen for the other people, because you were supposed to teach, you were supposed to train, you were supposed to do
Yeah.
whatever these
Yeah.
things were, you're not in position to do it. So it's so good that you brought up the appointed time. And I think we move around as if every day we got another day. Like it's just a guarantee. When the Bible tells us specifically that no man know the day nor the hour. So if we don't know the day or the hour, why do we move as if we got so much time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do we move around as if there's always another opportunity? We don't move like we understand that what I'm building now, if I said that it is for generations, I mean, come on, y'all. I think when we talk about generational shifts and generational breaking generational curses, well, generational curses are things of the past, so you can do that. But when we say we build for generations, or a wise man,
Mhm.
puts up an inheritance or leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children, and that is generational, right? But it's also the understanding that when end times come, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we move as if we just automatically know that this is gonna be for another 10,000 years, and baby, I'm gonna be here. Hmm. Okay. The people that I ain't gonna go there. All right. But we move as if we just automatically are entitled to this X amount of
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
when we have no idea, because the Bible says, "For I know the plans that I have for you." Thus saith the Lord. It didn't say that Jade came and said it, that Danielle said it, that Tashana, nobody in these comments said it. The Lord said that He knows the plans
Yeah.
that He
Yeah.
has for you, right? He knows the end of the thing from the beginning of it. So when we know these things and we understand them, we got to stop moving as if we got so much time. We got so many other resources that are going to be on the way. When it comes to being ready, you're never going to be completely ready. I believe that readiness comes by way of doing.
Yeah.
You get, well, and again, you get more. We talked about it last week. I think you get more confident
Yeah.
when you do the thing.
Exactly.
So you get more confident in your readiness, right? So like the more I got up and was like, all right, we supposed to be somewhere at a certain time. The more I started getting dressed early, the more then I'm like, all right, bet when Danielle get ready, I'm gonna be ready. Or maybe I'm gonna be ready before her. Like, the more you do
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
the more you put it into practice. Again, to building well.
Yeah.
So I think the question we ask about building well first, when the reality is we should ask these questions,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we align these things and ultimately it ends in building well.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's what I got on that. And you want to add anything else to
I would
being
say
ready?
to being ready and to the things when we know that, again, when we know God is calling us to do it at a certain time, then sometimes we got to say no to other stuff we're doing to get that thing done.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be worried about who gonna be mad at you and who gonna do this and who ain't gonna talk to you no more. If what God is asking you to do should supersede everything else. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times we make what he say optional. We say, oh, well, God, if I get some time, if I right before I go to bed, if I get some time, I'll get that done. But that is not priority. And I think
Yeah.
if we prioritize the things that God is telling us to do, then all
Yeah.
the other things are going to fall in line anyway. But we do it in the reverse. We say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is my calendar, God. Okay, I think I can squeeze you in right here at 2 p.m. and I'll give you 15 minutes, but then I got to get back to my stuff. And so the way that we view readiness and the timing and things, I think we just have to, I know we just have to reprioritize God and what He's calling us to do. And then we won't be worried about the other stuff anyway. Like, you ain't gonna have time to think about that.
That's
You
right.
are going to be so focused on what He's calling you to do that you won't, what God is calling you to do, it has no choice but to be successful.
That's right.
Because it's His word. He
That's
watches
right.
over His word to perform it.
That's
Not
right.
over your calendar. He
That's
watches
right.
His word to perform it. Not over your preference. He watches His word. Not
Teach, teacher.
not over the thing that you saw on social media. He watches His word.
That's
So if
right.
you're not performing His word, what you're trying to do might not get done.
That's
And
right.
it might take longer and all that stuff. And not because he's like, oh, I don't want to give you this thing, but that wasn't his word. That wasn't priority for him. Like
Yeah.
he prioritizes you. First
Hmm.
of all, you are a
That's right.
priority for him. And what he's called you to do is a priority for him. So he will rearrange stuff. You're like, God, well, why such and stuff stop talking to me? And why ain't because you was spending too much time doing that and not enough time doing what he called you to do.
That's right.
Ain't nobody did nothing wrong, but your priority was not in place. And so when
Yes.
time comes, you have to have a sense of readiness. And to that, the way you get ready faster or whatever, you create a routine.
Yes.
You know, okay, this is how I get ready. I
Mhm.
get ready by this, I do this, and I do this, and I can do these two at the same time, and all of those things. So when you create a level of routine for yourself,
Yeah.
then I think that helps in your get ready, you know, your get ready process, because we watch people get ready all the time on the internet, right? You be watching Get Ready with Me, Get Ready with Me,
Listen.
all this stuff. And granted, that thing might be a minute. It might have took them 2 hours to get ready.
That's right.
They
That's
didn't edit
right.
it out. They edit
That's
and
right.
edit and edit, and you like, oh, I need to be able to do all that. You don't have 2 hours to do all that. Actually,
That's right.
don't stop watching them, because that's not realistic for your life.
That's right.
Right. And so sometimes what we watching, like, oh well, once I do that and once I get this and guys, like, you, first of all, you don't need all that for what I'm calling you to do.
That's right.
And they have the capacity for it right now and you don't.
Yes.
And it's okay,
Yeah.
but you can't keep comparing yourself to other people and they edits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good because baby, I like a good get ready with me video. And the reality is it took a long time. And then also on the other side of that, you hear them come back and say eventually like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired of creating content. I'm so tired of doing this, that, and the other." And the reality is what you just said, it takes me back to conversations that we've had about and it leads into our last and final, like the question and the thing that we talk about. But realizing that you already have everything that you need. A lot of times we are trying to get ready and, oh, me traveling, getting ready to travel. I go and buy so much stuff. And half of the things that I buy, so clothes, all the things, half of those things that I buy, I don't even end up using or wearing.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I take it, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna throw this in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't wear it. And so the reality is we have to understand that we already have a lot of times we already have everything that we
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
If you feel God breathing on something and he's saying go forth, you feel that thrust forward, it's because you have everything that you need. There is not another single thing that you need to add at this point
Mm-hmm.
except for to do the thing. When
Yeah.
you do the thing, then things start happening. Somebody else in the comments, I think, said faith is action.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says that faith without work is dead. So we can have all the faith in the world that we're going to do it. But again, if you don't put action behind, if you don't put the work in, right? And
Yeah.
the work a lot of times is just do the first thing. We
Yeah.
want to see. I remember it was a season I was in where there was one thing in front of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
All I could see was just the one thing.
Yeah.
And I was only thinking about going one way, which is straight forward, head on.
Uh-huh.
And one day the Lord dealt with me and was like, hey, but you don't know if you take a step to the right and one step forward, you're
Yeah.
going to actually just pass by this one thing that you see in the way. So a lot of times we sit and we ponder or we think that we just gotta have it, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just need one more thing. I just gotta do one more thing. Again, the whole perfectionism and performance. You don't have to perform
Yeah.
to get what it is that I've said. Because to your point,
Mm-hmm.
right? He watches over his word. He ain't watching over your he ain't watching over your calendar. He's not watching over those things. He is watching over his word to perform it.
Yeah.
And so if he said do it, just do it.
Yeah.
There's not another, you don't need to ask 50,000 more questions. Well, me, I'm analytical. So I ask, oh, all right, guys. So you said go do it. How many people gonna be there? How is this gonna look? What's that gonna look like? Do this, do that. And God started dealing with me in a way where it's like, so guess what? I ain't gonna tell you another nothing until you do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, how offensive is it? Ooh, you ain't gonna tell me. All right, cool. I got offended, but I got over it
Yeah.
because I got tired of sitting and stagnant and
Hmm.
not moving forward. When you understand, like, the thing about purpose, the thing about God, baby, that thing, you can run all you want and that thing is gonna chase you down to the point where eventually you're gonna say, all right,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, and so after going through that season or that period of like, but God, you ain't gonna tell me, well, I ain't gonna do it. Well, then I guess you just ain't gonna do it. And then you find yourself in the same cycle. Now you ain't building well, you just building, you just doing something. And I'm not even breathing on it, right?
Yeah.
The grace is not even on it. So that's so good. And I think again it leads into our last question, which
Mhm.
is a lot of people and even us, like I said, we
Yeah.
always think about, we've had these conversations, what
Mhm.
happens to the stuff that I already have, what happens to the books I already wrote, what happens to the experience that I already got, what happens to the conversations, the connections, the this, that, and the other, what happens to all of these
Yeah.
things,
Hmm.
because we are hoarders. We want to take, even if it's stuff that, even if some of it is like, hey, well, you need to leave that behind. We hoarders. We want to take people and we want to take things with us. I
Yes.
think you talked about it last week. Everybody can't go with you where you're going. They can't. You got to drop off some of that baggage. In the grow, I taught on velocity.
Hmm.
And when we look at for those of you who are into cars, when a car, when they are souping up these cars, it can drop off a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want the car to drag. So I got to put a big motor in it. The more or the higher the performance, the bigger the motor. So they
Yeah.
put a bigger motor in it, but they don't want the back of the car to drag the ground when it takes off, because the way that the snatch happens, it happens at an angle. So anyway, um in that there are things that have to drop off. If you've ever studied like a rocket launch, there are things that's a drop off period. Stuff has to drop off. A plane can't go, but it can't have but so much weight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can't have but so many people, so many bags. And so when we think about those things, the reality is we have to recognize what is supposed to go and what's not supposed
Yeah.
to go. So to answer that question, what happens to the stuff that I already have, Danielle, what would you say?
There's some stuff that cannot go, and then there's other stuff that God is going to repurpose. And just because he's repurposing it does not mean it does not have the same level of oomph that it once had. Like, it's still just as good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being repurposed.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you had that job title there, but you're gonna bring the skills, and now it's just gonna be under another job title, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the skill is still there, but it's just being repurposed in a different way. For
Mm-hmm.
me, teaching, I've taught K-12 for years, right? But just because I teach adults does not mean I lose all of that. But a lot of it is getting repurposed
Mm-hmm.
so that it matches my new audience.
Yeah.
And so understanding that your audience has changed,
Mm-hmm.
but the skill level and all of those things stay the same. And some skills you might not use for years again.
Yeah.
Right, but they're still there. If they're needed, they hey, you back right back there. You right back on it. I would, when I see like nurses and doctors, they're off duty. But if an emergency happened, baby, they on it. Yes, they were traveling, they were on vacation, but as soon as they needed that thing, hey, there was no pause between them being back a doctor, being back a nurse. And so
Right.
you just have to understand that you are building your toolkit, and you don't need everything that you once had, because some of the things that you don't need is there was once a time that you didn't have the confidence that you
Yeah.
needed, right? And you used to walk around with your head hanging down, and you didn't know if you were good enough, and all of these things. Or there was fear that you used to drag along with you every day and
Mm-hmm.
hold the hands and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so things get repurposed. And I think understanding that they might even have a different name to them, and
Yes.
not feeling like, oh God, because a lot, and me and Jade have talked about this, a lot of people are in transition, especially with work, with
Yeah.
layoffs and companies being bought out and mergers and all of these things. And so people are feeling like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it's like, but you were a professional. You're
Yes.
still a professional even without the title. And
Hmm.
I think some of us have gotten so comfortable with the title, we forgot the skill that got us to that title.
That's good.
Like the skill is still yours. The title was theirs anyway.
Yes.
That title never actually belonged to you. It
Yeah.
belongs to that company. It belongs to that organization. But the skills that you either brought there or the ones that you obtained there, those
Mhm.
are yours. Those are yours for the taking. And we can't keep leaving skill sets and ideas. Some of you had amazing ideas at the companies you worked for before, and now you don't work for a company. Now you ain't got no ideas. What? The same way you got ideas then, you can get them now. Some of those ideas they didn't use, why you can't use them now?
That's right.
But we have to go back in our toolkit and say, what do I have? I know for it was years. I got my master's in teacher leadership in 2015, and I kept teaching, but I was not using that. Like nobody cared that it was a master's in teacher leadership because I was still teaching students, kids.
Hmm.
And so now it's at the point where I'm teaching adults where now the masters make sense. Now it's like, oh, wait, you are skilled to do this. You do have this level of expertise. So sometimes God will have you prepare in advance where don't you be like, why, God, why I'm doing this? Like, this don't even make no sense. Yeah, I'm
Right.
not using this. And some of us have been so frustrated when God told us to do something new because it
Mhm.
didn't make sense that we didn't do the thing and now we need the thing and we don't have the thing.
Don't have it.
So it's better if you do something that does not make sense in that season because God told you to, because eventually, because
Mhm.
nothing is wasted, right? Eventually it's all going to make sense. It's all going to come full circle. So the
Mhm.
stuff that you have, don't just let it sit there and feel like it's useless. Oh, I spent all this time in school and all this stuff. Well, what connections did you make while you were in school?
Mhm.
What places did you get to travel to? What resources have you gained? Like go back and reflect so that you can go into the next season not feeling again like you're starting all over from scratch. Like, oh, I don't have anything. This is so new to me and all
Mhm.
of these things. No, you actually do have something. But again, in our figure it out sessions, we get to help you see those things. Like, girl, wait, hold on. You said, now tell me about this. Now, what you did over here? Oh,
Yes.
you know what? I did do that. I did lead a team. Okay, so and
Yeah.
you were a hiring manager, like
Mhm.
really just highlighting the things that become so normal to us. It becomes
Yes.
a part of our everyday job, so it doesn't even feel like something. And I think that's what happens with gifts too, Jade. Like
Mhm.
they just become so natural. It's like, oh, girl, yeah, I do that, and we don't think much of it, but actually, like we talked about, that is your value proposition, right? Like that's the thing that actually sets you apart from everybody
Yeah.
else, the things that you've done in these previous jobs, previous businesses, all of those things. So what you do with it, you bring it with you. The stuff that he tell you to leave behind, leave it behind. But
Mhm.
I promise you, most of it is going to be repurposed and repackaged for your new season.
That's so good. And I had to take some notes because you was on the roll. Um, and yeah, again, remembering that a lot of times we already have what we need,
Mm-hmm.
right? What you just said was, hey, you already got this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a lot of times we think that we just have to throw everything away.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I took note of, even when you said, like, when you're working a job, you have ideas.
Mm-hmm.
We take them as just, oh, they're just some ideas. Oh, well, and because they didn't become anything. The reality is you created framework.
Yeah.
So why would you leave your framework at somebody else's place of business? That is your intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
I developed a framework to take this company from surviving to thriving,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you leave your framework just because you don't work there anymore? That's not their framework.
Yeah.
Take your framework. The Bible, take up your bed and walk.
Yeah.
He didn't leave his bed,
Yeah. That was his.
right? It was he, take
Yeah.
it with you and go. Dust off your feet. It didn't say leave your feet. It just said dust them off. So the reality is, why would you leave your framework somewhere with somebody who didn't create it?
Mm-hmm.
So you leave your framework. eventually they go and find your framework, or they go back and pull the notes on what you said they could do to better the company. And then now they are benefiting, they are profiting off of something that they did not build. And
Yeah.
you gone and you just done left it. Stop leaving your stuff.
Yeah.
I tell my kids that all the, you're not going back to nobody's house if you leave another thing. Stop leaving your stuff at people's house and stop
Yeah.
bringing other people's stuff to my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reality is I ain't invite that to my house, but don't leave your stuff at people's house.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it and we minimize it to ideas when the reality is those are frameworks. They are a part of your unique selling proposition
Yeah. Yeah.
because I created, and regardless of what you know, because I think a lot of times we'll go to the resume and say, oh well, I helped so and so and so. No, I developed
Yeah.
frameworks.
Yeah.
I developed a framework to take this company from X, Y, and Z. One of the things I had to do, so I worked in executive position when I first got to Atlanta, or sometime in the midst of me getting to Atlanta, and transitioning and all of that stuff. I worked in executive level position. It was about, I had about a 90-day run in this position. And one of the things that I did initially was like, well, you know, I was only there about 90 days. So this, that, and the other. And I had a friend to say to me, okay, and what happened while you were there in those 90 days? This lady was able to stop working on Wednesdays and go get massages and go lay out by the pool on the weekends and all of these different things. There was a framework.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let me sit myself down, even though I may not have presented it in this manner because I'm a strategist, because this is naturally how I'm wired. I came in and made changes. So profitability increased by this. They didn't have to validate me. She didn't have to send me a letter and say, Jade, this is what you did for the company. I took note of what it was that happened from the time I got there to the time I left.
Yeah.
I don't need you to validate that for me, but I think a lot of times we leave that behind because, well, they didn't say it. You're looking for validation. You need somebody to publicly say what it is that you did. When the reality is that God gave you the uniqueness, He gave you the competitive advantage to go in. How do you think that we go into these different organizations, or we go into these different industries and, you know, governments and all of these things? How do you think we go in and we make we influence change? We do that by way of, a lot of times, most times, and I don't know, hopefully everybody on here is a believer. We do that. I can speak for Danielle and myself. We do that by way of the Holy Spirit. We have the competitive advantage because we have the Holy Spirit. We got to stop leaving our things behind, and we got to stop looking for validation for somebody else to publicly say, hey, you did a great job when you were with this company. When the reality is, no, I have a proven track record, whether you call me the controller of this company or not, whether you call me the CFO or not. I know what it is that I came in and did. You don't have to ever say another word because my framework is proven. And I can say specifically that this is what I do. So a lot of times I think we do that. We leave things behind because we don't want to, or we don't understand the weight of what it is that we built, the weight of, and not just built, but we built it well.
Yeah. Yeah.
We stewarded it well. We were ready even when we weren't ready.
Yeah.
We did these things. And so another note that I took, even when you said, because it doesn't look like that, it does not yet appear what it is supposed to be, right? Yeah. It does not yet appear what is going to come about. That's one of the beautiful things about that I even just appreciate about how God works. It's because it may look like one thing to me in one season, and it may be another season before I get the other part of it and say, oh, wait, so this whole time, this was what, all right, I feel this. But I think that causes us to, again, it strengthens us to build something that's sustainable. And to build it well, something that we have the capacity for, something that we are competent in doing, because we went through a season where it did not yet appear what it was going to be, what it was supposed to be, what the Lord intended for. It didn't appear to me. So in that case, I moved in a particular type of way. But when the next season came around, I didn't put down what I had. I went and grabbed up myself and said, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And so then finally, I'll say to that point about those transferable skills. I was somebody when I first got into like the Atlanta job market, I
Mhm.
was like, well, I've only ever been an accountant.
Yeah.
Like I've only ever worked as an accountant. Like I don't know, I literally felt like I had no value because
Mhm.
it goes to that point of you with the title. Like you were tied to a title. My identity was completely wrapped up in being an accountant. It was completely wrapped up in doing people's taxes, being people's coach, those who are accountants and tax professionals. My identity was completely wrapped in all of that. So
Yeah.
with all of that, I had to go back and sit and realize, hold on, wait, and I had to again go back to my accountability system and be honest and say, I just feel like I'm just an accountant. I don't know what from this point. I
Yeah.
feel God pulling me somewhere else. I feel him pulling me into visibility, into sustainability, into these things. And to hear somebody say to me, and from that angle, the assignment or the call, all of that is still the same,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
purpose is still the same. The vehicle is just a little different in
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
However, I had to look at transferable skills. Okay, so because I have sat behind a computer and have you done administrative work? I mean, yeah, I sent emails, I did this, I did. There are skills that are transferable. So when we talk about what I had, what I already have, or what I had, or what this and that, we have to hone in on those things.
Yeah.
We have to go deeper in those things that we know that this is something that is going to, regardless of how small it looks,
Yeah.
right? Because we can look at it and just say, oh, well, it was just right.
Yeah.
And baby, it's just something that's going to thrust you
Yeah.
forward. It
Yeah.
is just another prerequisite
Yeah.
that you've already completed. So you don't need to go back and do that again.
Exactly.
So it's so good that you touched on those things, and I think it's so important that we keep those things in mind, but then also remembering that there are some things that you have that you actually don't need.
Yeah.
And as you said, when we get together and we have these figure it out sessions, and they come and they bring their thoughts, their ideas, their plans, their experience, we look at all of that and we sit. I think what I like the most about the figure it out sessions, because we can say, hey, let's figure it out together. And people think that we figuring it out. We already got it figured out. We are experts in the area we are showing up in our area of expertise.
Mhm.
We already know and understand. We have the competitive advantage, which is the Holy Spirit,
Mhm.
because he can only give us extra things that you need. And
Yeah.
even things that in our sphere we think, oh, well, they just need this. The Holy Spirit will say they need this
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
and they don't need that. So they don't need that whole framework, but I want you to do this and this.
Yeah.
But then also the fact that we come together and we look at everything that they have, and we're able to say, going forward, or here's the strategy that you
Mhm.
need, here's the plan. Okay, you got little Keisha and all of them calling you for money, or you doing this and you
Yeah.
showing up here and that, you doing this for $50 when you, yeah. So we can sit with them and say, don't do that or do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Giving real advisory. And I think again, that's the beautiful thing about what it is that we do and what we're going to be doing through these figure it out sessions, and just through not just individuals, but those who are in transition, leaders, those in the marketplace, those who are in ministry, those who are in corporations. Like, these are the things that we're going to be doing. So I'm excited just about all of that. And I think the beautiful thing also about these sessions is that you get two people
Mhm.
who have been where you are, number one, and then we have done the work, we
Mhm.
have built well, we have the experience, we have the expertise, we got the receipts, whether we post them or not, we got the receipts. But also, besides all of that, we have heaven backing us.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing about when you are in alignment,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
feel that thrust forward. One of the worst things to do is be in alignment and not move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so Danielle, I'll turn it back over to you.
And to what Jay just said about these, this is not something that we asked to do. Like, God, give us something to bring to the people. No, it wasn't even an ask for us, but it was alignment for him, for us to say, okay, God, now what we about to do? Like, we had to start asking him. And sometimes we do the opposite. God, I really want to do this. So can you make this happen?
Yes.
Instead of, God, what you want to do with me? Like, huh? And letting him download instead of us giving him our plans. He gives us his
His
plans. Because
plans.
when we follow his plan, oh,
Right.
the plan gonna plan. The plan gonna accomplish the thing that it's supposed to accomplish. And
That's
I
right.
dropped the first of all, we want you to stay connected. So that link is in the comments and the figure it out session links. And Jay's gonna drop QR codes on the screen. But make sure you do that because we are excited about building. Like
Mm-hmm.
we know this is a building season, and sometimes people think, well, if I'm building, when I'm gonna get the in this season, you get to build and reap. Like
Oh,
he's
that's good.
at the place where, like, yes, you're building, but you get to, and some of us are gonna reap on past seasons,
Jesus.
seasons that we didn't see the harvest in. We get to reap
Jesus.
from that while we build this. And so I'm excited about the fact that he's released us to do it
So good.
because we weren't asking for it, but he said go forth. And so we are doing exactly what we are preaching or talking
Yeah.
about. This is us in real time doing the real thing that God asked us to do. So to stay connected, the link is there as well. Don't just go look at it, type your information in, because you never know when the next one of these is going to happen. And we're going to be dropping tips in those emails so that you can keep moving forward. And of course, the Let's Figure It Out sessions, like Jay said, you get the two of us. You don't just get to talk and then somebody else gives their expertise from one side.
Mhm.
We get to bring our expertise together and say, after you done said all your stuff, we come back privately and have the conversation. Me, Jade, and God get to collaborate about you and say,
Mhm.
okay, God, I know she mentioned that. She didn't really go into it. Can't what is something on that part of it? Like
Yeah.
is something going on there? And so we
Mhm.
get to have those conversations and then present a plan to you. And then in 2 weeks follow up.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is something that only God could put this together because this is not how me or Jade have done anything prior to this.
Anything. That's
This is
right.
not how our businesses were set up. This is not how they function, and this is not the flow of it.
That's
But
right.
this is what God wants in this season. He wants people to have access to listening ears without the judgment, but with the voice of Holy Spirit too. Because some
Yeah.
of us find people that, oh, they just listen to all the stuff I'm saying, but they don't give you no good advice. They ain't never been nowhere you going, don't have a plan to go. And actually they a little bitter because you going, right?
Baby, and don't care. That's
And
right.
they, it's all these things. So we encourage you. We do have some sessions still available at our introductory rate. So make sure you do not miss out on this. I'm telling you, what if the everything we just talked about today, but we were talking to you about it?
Yeah.
Just your life. So we
Mhm.
didn't have all these little things that, but for a session, we are doing all of these things about you.
Yeah.
And it's customized for you. We don't go in saying, oh yeah, they gonna need it. We don't know.
Don't know.
We get to go in, hey guy, what's up? Like you get to share what God has put on you in a very authentic. We ain't got no questions we asked you before the session. We just need your name and email address. Like
Mhm.
it's like that because we don't want to go in with any preconceived, oh yeah, I think we
That's
don't.
right.
No, we just going in and say, hey God, you gonna do what you gonna do. And there are different payment plan options once you click the link. So don't allow anything to stop you from getting what you need for that
Absolutely.
next step, right? Because we keep saying you got everything you need, but now you need that thing to make the
That's
step.
right. That's
So
right.
it's not about you getting more information necessarily,
Mhm.
but now you need strategy to go. And that's for a lot of people, that's the missing piece. What's the strategy for my next in the proper order to do things in?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'll just share because as you were speaking, one of the things I sense the Lord saying is um, mm, just to remind those who are watching currently, those who are going to watch on replay, those who are hearing us talk about these things. Proverbs 19:21 says that many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is God's purpose that shall prevail or that will prevail. And so imagine walking around with these plans that don't connect to his purpose, and you have no purpose partner, no one who you can partner with in your purpose to become clear on what it is that the Lord is saying for you to do. At the end of the day, we can make all the plans that we want to make, and we can look good doing it, right?
Mhm.
We can show up excellent. We can do all of that.
Yeah.
We can perform and perform well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think the harsh reality is coming to that point where you don't hear that "well done, my good and faithful servant,"
Mm-hmm.
where you don't where what you built, "Hey, depart from me, I never knew you."
Mm-hmm.
When where what you built just kept you going in the same whirlwind.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that because we can do all this stuff. And I know I've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
I had been going in a direction, baby, and I just knew the Lord was with me. And I looked up and was like, how did I get here? Hold on, what?
Uh-huh.
This ain't, hold on, this doesn't look like what I saw. But because I had plans and I
Yeah.
wasn't partnering with people
Mm-hmm.
who could speak to my purpose, who could help me, who could get with the Holy Spirit and understand what it was that
Yeah.
I was supposed to be building.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to my friends who was like, "Girl, yep, go ahead. Whatever you that would all right, well, go ahead. That's the direction. You said that's what the Lord said, and that's the direction you think to go get that. Hey, I'm with you 100%."
Yeah.
There was nobody to say, "Hey, you're going in the wrong
Yeah.
direction."
Yeah.
Sometimes what we think we need is just a just turn around,
Yeah.
right? You going that way. All you need to do is turn around.
Yeah.
And when you get with us in these sessions, this is what it looks like. Somebody to advise, turn around.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep going that way, you're going to fall off the cliff. There is a dead end that way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I think people just have to understand that this ain't that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This ain't YouTube. This ain't this ain't TikTok University.
Yeah.
This is none of that. And for those who have worked with us in the past, those who are working with us currently, they know that this ain't that.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
would even encourage those that have worked with us in the past for whatever.
mhm,
You do know a version of us.
mhm.
You do. You have experienced a version of us. But when I tell you, the Lord has upgraded, elevated all kinds of things since the last time you've had this level of access,
Yeah.
that you're gonna be like, wait now, hold on. And so sometimes people get so comfortable, like, oh, I worked with them before, I know what they got. Hey, but over here, because we when we went back and got our stuff too, and said, oh wait, no, hold on, because actually I do know how to do this.
Ooh.
Actually, I do have experience in this. Actually, I
Yeah.
have worked in this industry. Actually, because there are things that have happened since the last time you had a level of access.
Yeah.
And so understanding that, and the other thing I want to say is a lot of us have been moving prior to this. We moved in the lane of where we saw provision and not where we saw purpose. We went where the
Good.
highest paycheck was. Who gonna pay me the most?
Jesus.
That was our deciding factor for a lot of things. But this is a turn towards purpose. Oh, you're gonna be provided for, but that might not initially be the biggest thing, because it might start off like, well, dang, that's this, but 2 months later a big contract come through that's bigger than what you ever would have made over there, right?
Yeah.
And so we are helping you to navigate, do I choose what looks like provision, or do I go with purpose? And that's where we figure it out together. How do we show up in spaces where it's like, yeah, I do still have bills to pay, and God is leading me here. So how do I merge the two, and where is the sweet spot for me currently, right? And we ain't trying to figure out your next 5 years. You ain't gonna come out with a 5-year plan. You gonna come out with tomorrow I need to do that. Yeah, tomorrow do this, right? Because we're not trying to overwhelm you. We talk about capacity and all that stuff and sustainability. Our goal is not to overwhelm, but it is definitely to give, hey, next steps. Take this one, then take this one next. I know that one look tempting, but that one gonna throw you off the cliff if you take that one.
Yep.
It go this way, right? And so I'm excited that we get the opportunity to do it, that he's trusting us to do it. And so again, make sure you are staying connected. make sure you're not just seeing the link and clicking the link and not actually putting your information in. Because I'm looking
Mhm.
right now, like I see how many people on here. I'm like, hey, have they subscribed? Did they put their information in? Because we want to
Y'all, the teacher don't play. Teacher
we want
don't.
to make sure you actually connect. My students just be turning in work, and they be like, I turned it in. Hold on, let me go see. Let me go check and make sure you turned it in, because then you're gonna be looking at me like, why didn't you ain't graded? Why I didn't get it? So there was a disconnect. Oh, you didn't hit submit. You didn't hit,
Yeah.
and it's usually your problem, your issue, not mine. But we gonna check regardless. So make sure you do that. The link is there. The QR code is there. And for the figure it out sessions, we have a couple more dates available. So the way figure it out sessions work, you will book your session, and right after you book your session you will get an email to our calendar, so you will see our availability and you can pick the date and time that you need to do that, right? So you'll pick your date and time, and then we'll figure out, we'll everything else we figure it out together. So don't feel like, oh, I gotta have all this and they want to see my financial statements and they want to do this and where's my LLC. Stop. No, we ain't checking for all that. Okay,
Yeah.
we want you where you are, what you got going on.
Mhm.
So we're excited about the sessions that we have coming up and all of those things. So make sure that you schedule yours. Do not wait any longer, because the longer you wait, the longer you just like, I don't know what to do. And we
Yes.
want to help you get rid of that feeling.
Yes, and I see we have somebody in the comments who has already booked the session who says that she cannot wait for her session. So we are looking forward to talking to you, Miss Karen. We cannot wait. I think I can speak again for both of us. Yes, we're happy to be able to do this to help you all, but we are excited to be able to do it together.
Yeah.
Like it's the two of us, and we do you not? Yeah. So again, super excited. Now we have come to y'all live 2 Fridays in a row. Next Friday is the preparation for the holiday, so you will not see us live. Enjoy your holiday weekend. If you're going to Essence Fest, enjoy your time. If you're traveling and all of that, stay safe. But you will see us back the following Friday, which I think it is the 10th, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken. It is the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll be back on July the 10th, having another conversation, going deeper into what it is that we need to be doing as we are building, not just building, but building well.
Yeah.
So, again, I am Jade Alexis. I'm here with Danielle Bertrand. You can connect with us on all of our social medias
Mm-hmm.
by our name. Danielle Bertrand is Dr. Danielle or Dr.
Loading.
Danielle Loading on Instagram, but just search Danielle Bertrand. You'll find her. I'm Jade Alexis across all platforms. We appreciate y'all. If you are watching this on a replay, make sure you click those links in the comments so that you can, one, get connected with us, and two, book a session if you need to. We'll see y'all again later.
Bye.